In today's episode, I want to share with you what I would do if I was launching my business from scratch today in 2023. Look, a lot of things in business change. One of those core elements is definitely in the marketing phase of your business. But a lot of the fundamentals of launching a business are the same. Now, I am approximately 7 years into running my online business, and 6 of those years, I have actually been teaching entrepreneurs how to do what I'm sharing with you in today's episode via my program Roadmap to Freedom. And yes, every year there's a bit of a tweaking or a different approach that we take based on what's happening in the environment, in the online space. And I will tell you that it's easier today than it has ever been to launch your business in the next 90 days. If you don't believe me, that's what today's episode is all about. I'm going to give you a breakdown month to month what I would do if I was starting from scratch. Now, obviously, this episode is divinely timed because we are going to be opening the doors to Roadmap to Freedom in September of 2023. This is the only time we have run the program twice in 1 year, and I am super excited to invite a new cohort of women who are ready to create that time, financial, and location freedom in their business. Again, I've had this program for 6 years, and we have pages and pages and videos and quotes from entrepreneurs who have done what I'm sharing with you today. Whether you are just starting your business or not, this is the perfect episode to tune into because you might find that there are holes in your existing plan that we can easily fill and get the ball moving. So let's get right into it, shall we? All right, so the first thing that I would do is I would mark 60 days on my calendar. I would go to my calendar right now. I would map out 60 days from today, and I would put a Post-it on there because your girl loves Post-its on a calendar that would say, phase 1 and 2 done. All right, what are those phases? Well, the first 30 days are all about your brand foundation. This is the element of running a business, of building a business that has never changed. You absolutely need a brand if you want to build an online business. You need to take the time to establish those brand foundations because they play a vital role, a crucial role, the beating heart of everything that you're going to do in your business. Every marketing effort that you are going to make comes down to the work that you do at this phase. Now, even though it is crucial, it doesn't mean it needs to take you forever. It can very easily take you 30 days or less, especially if you have the proper guidance and prompts. Of course, that's just going to shorten the timeline. This is something that I've been working with my clients on for years. It's my specialty, branding for sure, and I know that it can be done in 30 days. So what does that mean exactly? During this branding phase, there are a couple key elements that I want you to identify. Number 1 is going to be your niche. Now, this is specifically the problem that you are going to solve for your ideal customer. Every business has a problem that they solve. You have to identify what that is in order to make money. The second thing is going to be your ideal customer. Who are you selling that specific thing to, right? We just talked about a specific problem that you solve. Who is that for specifically? You cannot market to everyone. You don't want to market to everyone because you will not see conversions. We've got to create a really specific client profile because that's going to play a role in the third step, which is your messaging. Now, your messaging is going to evolve and change as you go, but the idea here is that you have kind of a core messaging foundation that then allows you to create some of these next pieces before you even get into the marketing aspect. And so you want to start to identify how are you going to communicate to your ideal customer? How are you going to position your offer and the problem that you solve? In this branding phase, I also want you to design one offer, just one for now. It's going to be okay. You can create more later. Now, depending on the type of business that you want to create, this could be a plethora of things. But if I were in your shoes, I would focus primarily on a one-to-one type of service. The reason for that, it's the lowest barrier to entry, meaning you don't need crazy overhead or applications or software to make it happen, and you don't have to spend months and months creating a course or a program outline. You really only need a clear idea of your framework and what you're going to provide your one-to-one clients and a sales page, which we'll talk about later. But right now, you're just figuring out, like, what could I sell right out of the gate for my business? And again, there's going to be opportunities for expansion. There's going to be opportunity for you to continue to add new programs. But right now, we really want to figure out what is the easiest to get started with. And then the last piece of this is going to be the actual aesthetics of your brand. That is going to play a role in what we do in the next 30 days as we wrap up the first 60. And so if you do want to identify your colors and your fonts and things like that and have a very cohesive brand board that you can pull from to create all these next few things rather easily. So that's the first 30 days. Again, yes, it's a lot of work, but it is 100% worth it. And if you have guidance, it's going to make that process a lot easier. Now, after the first 30 days, we're entering into phase 2. And phase 2 is really about getting your online presence foundational pieces set up. This looks like your website, and it also looks like some sort of lead magnet. So as you start moving into the marketing phase, you can begin to capture those leads, get them on your email list, and continue to build the relationship and ultimately sell. What I would do is I would sign up for a Squarespace account, and I would purchase a Squarespace template. Yes, that's exactly what I would do. There are so many options out there today, and Squarespace, in my mind, is one of the best platforms. It's, again, easy to get started, easy to update. If you're not a designer, if you're not tech savvy, we don't want this step to keep you from making forward movement. And so I use Squarespace today in my business still. It's my favorite. Many of my clients use it. It's what we teach inside of Roadmap to Freedom as well. And I would choose a template that really resonated with, what I discovered in the branding phase. I would integrate those colors. I would integrate those fonts. I would start to craft copy for the website based on what I had done in the branding phase. Now, my goal here is not the final product, okay? You can always tweak and refine your website as you go. But we need something to be there to put your brand out into the world. And the sooner that you get your website started, the sooner you can start to integrate marketing concepts onto your website, like SEO, which is going to be the best case scenario, because the sooner you get those started, the sooner you'll see results, as they do take a period of time. Now, the main pages that I recommend on a website that I would start with would be a home page. I would have an about page where I feature my story. I'd have that signature offer, so a one-to-one offer, and I would have like a contact me scheduling page. That's all that I would start with at this phase. The second part of phase 2 is to create that lead magnet. Now, honestly, what I would probably do today, and this is not what I did in the beginning, I went full overly complicated and made like a 7-day video series, which took so much time to create. It's insane. But I would create a really simple PDF using Canva. I would go into Canva. I would look up, PDF guides, freebies, something along the lines that I was ultimately wanting to create, a checklist, a handout, a tracker, whatever, would be of service to my ideal customer and align with what I'm providing. And I would customize it to my brand, and I would add in those sweet things that make my brand what it is, everything we determined at the branding phase. And I would create an opt-in for it, and I would get it on my website immediately. Now, this is where there is a bit of investment, right? You will need to obviously invest in Squarespace and purchase a template, which is super affordable in the long run, and is actually going to make it easier for you to get your website up and running than if you were to build every piece yourself. And then the next one is going to be an email platform. So we recommend ConvertKit here, but there are tons of options available. All you really want to make sure is that that email platform also has opt-in forms so that you can embed that opt-in form on your website. And when we get into marketing, you can also start sharing that opt-in page via your marketing efforts to get people to sign up for your freebie. This is where you're ultimately going to start. Now, there are a lot of things that we could do in these 30 days, right? Writing your email funnel, your onboarding sequence when someone opts in. That could take a day, that could take weeks. We really want to focus on getting things started quickly. And so inside of my program Roadmap to Freedom, what I encourage my clients to do is start with a really simple 3 email sequence where they introduce themselves and the brand, they provide value, and maybe they mention their one-to-one offering. You can always add to this email sequence later on, okay? We can always add. Right now, it's really about ripping off the Band-Aid and getting your brand out into the world. Because guess what happens after those 60 days? It's time to market. This is where all the testing happens. This is where you're refining your messaging. This is where you're getting feedback. This is where you're trying new things. This is where the magic happens. And this is the part that doesn't stop. Marketing is something that you are going to continue doing in your business all of the time. It is essential. We all are content creators today. It is just what is required of us in today's landscape. And so this period of time is really trying to figure out like what is the most exciting to you. It's unavoidable. So what do you do that makes it exciting, joyful? I love filming videos. Hello, that's why I have video podcasts on YouTube. That was how I really started. When I started my business back in 2016, it was all live video. Now, obviously, you see me blogging, you see me podcasting, you see me recording video. I didn't start with all of those things. I just started with one. So now that we're entering into our last part of our 90 days, this is where the real challenge happens. What I would do if I was just starting my business or wanting to really gain momentum is I would commit to 30 days of marketing consistently. You don't have to stick with that, okay? It's not sustainable. It's not something I want you to do long term. But again, we're experimenting, we're playing, we're finding our voice, we're finding what stories we love to share, what people, resonate with. And so showing up more is going to give us more data to make those decisions overall. So what I would do is I would first choose a medium. Do you like recording video? Do you like audio? Is writing your cup of tea? Do you like social media, right? So kind of figuring out like, how do you like creating content? Do you like writing more long form? Is it short form? Then determining, which platform you're ultimately going to be showing up on. So if you like writing, maybe it's blogging. If you like recording audio, podcasting. If you like video, well, there's a plethora of things that you could do there. And there's not a right or wrong way to go, but I do think it's really important to take note of what you enjoy. There's a lot of messaging that like everyone should be on social media. And yeah, some businesses probably should be on social media, at least showing up a few times a week. But if you absolutely hate it, if it goes against your belief system, it's not gonna work, right? So you really want to think about like, where do you love showing up? How do you love creating content? And then choose a platform and go all in on that platform. Now, once you've made those choices, the next thing that I would do is map out a 90-day content calendar. Now, we're only really focused on like the first 30 days. That's all I'm like challenging you to do. But it's nice to just know that you can very easily map out 90 days of content. I teach my clients how to do this in all of my programs because it's a lot easier than you think it is. But an example of this is if I were going to be focused on creating evergreen content, let's say YouTube videos, podcasts, blog, then all I need are 12 topics, right? Because I'm only going to be posting one core piece of content every single week, okay? If I am focusing on social media or I'm integrating that in there, we're going to need more. But what I recommend is that in the beginning, you theme out your weeks. So rather than saying Monday's this topic, Tuesday's this topic, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you've got like 7 days of different things. Think every single week is going to be a theme, a pillar of your business. And then you're going to create little micro pieces of content around that. This is something that I did in my business within my first 2 years. And I do still do it in some capacity now, but it was a time saver and a life saver. It made such a big difference in how I was able to show up in a sustainable way, because it felt like I could sit down and really write a week's worth of content on one topic pretty easily, rather than trying to shift from one thing to the other. Again, getting started is the hardest part, and we want you to get started and we want you to test things out. Now, you might be like, okay, Michelle, you said blogging, great, that's going to happen once a week, but you're challenging me to show up every single day. Yes, I am. So you might have to get creative here. Maybe you have a blog and you're putting that blog out there, and that's what you're going to share once a week. And then you are also going to integrate a little bit of social media where you're sharing that blog content on social media, or you're integrating a little bit of email marketing. Again, this is 30 days of experimentation, and it's going to challenge you, but it's going to challenge you in the absolute best way possible. The amount of information that you are going to learn through this process, how it's going to really impact your expertise and your confidence will blow your mind. And so if you're up for it, take that challenge. So a couple other tips that I have that I would probably use, or I would create all my graphics in Canva. Let's make our lives very easy, please. Using templates and just adding my own brand colors and fonts. And I would document what's happening. What kind of content is working? What content do I love talking about? How fast am I writing blog posts over the course of a month? Have I, sped that up? Do I love my video marketing, but it's taking a lot of time? How can we shift that, right? This is experimental. We're gathering data. We're learning from this experience, so then we can create a longer plan after those first 90. But by this time, you have, in 90 days, created your brand, created your website, have a lead magnet, and you've put your brand out into the world, okay? And because you have the lead magnet, and because you have the website, and because you have an offering, you're promoting those different things via your content. You're sharing your one-to-one offering. Your email list is growing, so you're sending emails about your one-to-one services. And you could very, very, very possibly sign a client in those first 30 days of marketing if you are doing it consistently and if you are paying attention to the data. This is one of the things that I love about Roadmap to Freedom is as our clients are using their marketing, they're sharing the takeaways with me, and we can analyze the data and identify, let's change this, or people are responding to this, or so-and-so messaged about this. Let's say create content about that or change the sales page. Again, you're really paying attention, experimenting, and making those small tweaks. Then what I would do is after those first 90 days, if you've made a sale, amazing. If not, let's say, we'll just say the first 6 months, right? Worst case scenario, I would then invest 10% of my first sale into Pinterest ads, and I would try and get as many cold subscribers via advertising to my freebie. Now, this is twofold. I do not believe in long-term advertising. I don't think that you need to advertise every single day, every single month in order to grow a business and get leads. But in the beginning, there's a few things happening. One, you want to dial it up pretty fast in the beginning. Start getting those leads coming in. And number two, you want to test your messaging around your lead magnet. And that's really done by getting it in front of more people. So those first 30 days of marketing, you're maybe getting in front of like 2 people or 4 people a day or something like that. If we invest a little bit of money in advertising, we're able to look at the data and say, this lead magnet is doing amazing. I'm going to keep using it. It's not doing that great. Let's make some tweaks, or do I need to create another one? Remember, you put this lead magnet together pretty fast. right? In the first 60 days. And so yeah, there's gonna be some changes that need to happen. Same with your website. There's going to be some changes that happen. This is a really fast way to determine that. And Pinterest ads historically cost less than Facebook ads or even Google ads. And so I love Pinterest ads in my business. They're really great. I love the platform as well. And so that's a really great strategy that I would use. I would reinvest 10% of my first sale or my first few sales into those ads to really test my funnel and my lead magnet. And again, we're adjusting our freebie. We're adjusting our offering as we go. But this is the part that keeps most entrepreneurs stuck. Is the launching, getting it out into the world, talking about their brand, talking about their offer, creating content. And now you have a 90-day plan that gives you step-by-step what I would do. Now, of course, there are micro details to all of this, and you could go out and we could get that information online, absolutely. But if you're interested in having that step-by-step roadmap and more information, then definitely check out Roadmap to Freedom. You can go to brandmerry.com/freedom, and you can join the waitlist. You can learn more about the program and how it could ultimately support you. And another thing that I highly recommend if you want some more like nitty gritty about these different pieces, or maybe you already have a business established and you're wondering like, where should I be focusing my energy? Take my free quiz that is only available for a few more weeks. You can go to brandmerry.com/roadmap and you can take this free quiz. It's a 5-minute quiz and it's going to give you the next 3 steps to take in your business. It's super valuable. I have people who take it every year because their business changes and now they want to know, okay, what should I be focused on? There's a video training that goes with each of them that breaks down each individual step. So there's no guessing on your part. So just like the value that was in this episode, that freebie is incredibly valuable and also is customized to you and your responses to the quiz. You can go to brandmerry.com/roadmap to take that quiz while it is available. Oh my gosh. I loved that episode. I love when I nerd out about my own episodes, but it really does happen. I hope that you got a lot from this episode. You might have to come back and listen or rewatch again on YouTube just to break down all of those pieces. But the biggest takeaway that I have for you is it is absolutely possible to build your brand, launch those fundamental pieces, and get your marketing rocking and rolling in just 90 days. And I've seen it with hundreds of my own clients. So I believe in you. I know that you can freaking do this. And now it's just about getting started. And of course, I'm here to support you every single step of the way. Next week, I've got a really special interview coming in hot on the Brandmerry Podcast. I am interviewing my friends Tiffany and Kelly from Beautiful One Midwifery to talk all about your cycle and how it affects you as an entrepreneur. So tune in next week for another episode. And again, come hang out with me on Instagram, DM me, let me know your takeaways from today, and be sure to take that quiz at brandmerry.com/roadmap.